Graeme, good morning. Still morning, almost afternoon. How are you today?
Yeah, very good, Gary. Very good. Almost dancing on the ceiling.
Almost dancing. Oh, you stole my line, but you can see that I am upside down, so I'm obviously dancing on the ceiling. Graeme, thank you so much for agreeing to do this interview and chat with me. I have to say, you are the first South Island salesperson that I'm chatting to or interviewing. So that's a milestone. So thank you for that.
Oh, very good, very good. And all the way from the sunny south too, so that's good. Yeah.
So you have a nice sunny day today.
Yeah, beautiful day. Yeah. Don't tell everyone. We have quite a few beautiful days down here.
Right, super. I think when we spoke last, I think it was the end of last week, you said that you were raining, and I told you, oh, so that means we're probably going to have the rain here in Auckland soon. So the rain has arrived.
Yeah. We always send it your way. Yeah, once we're finished with it.
Yeah. Graeme, you have been in the real estate industry for, I did a quick calculation, and it's about 32 years right now. Am I correct?
Yep. August 1989, I started. Wow. So it'll be coming up 32 years this August.
Yeah. And were you always based in Invercargill?
Yeah, sort of. I come from a rural background, so I was brought up in the country, just out of Invercargill, about 20 minutes out. Yeah. So come from very much a rural background. Went to Lincoln University for a wee while, so I lived in Christchurch for a bit. But other than that, I've been very much a Southland boy.
And why real estate? What's that's always a very a question that I'm very curious about. Why people get into real estate?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think everyone has their own journey into real estate, and mine was very much my own journey. We'd been farming for quite a few years, and that I was farming through the 80s, and that was pretty hard work being a farmer in those days. There was a lot of economic changes. Interest rates were very high, 25 and 27%. Was a lot of pressure. So we decided to get out of farming, and we were going to be heading to Australia. We were going to set up in Perth, so I had a young family, and a brother-in-law of mine talked me into going and having an interview with a real estate company down here that were looking for a salesperson. And I got the job, and I just said to them that, rightio, we'll give it 6 months and see how we go. And with the view that we'd just carry on to Australia, but it didn't work out. So yeah, here we are, 31 and a half years later, and so it's a long 6 months.
So it kind of just happened. It wasn't a plan. It wasn't, you never thought of yourself, wow, I'm an exceptional salesperson.
No, I wouldn't say it just happened either, because the brother-in-law that suggested we come and have the interview was in real estate. I'd always taken an interest in what he was doing, and he was based in Queenstown, and I'd actually applied for a job with another company probably a couple of years earlier. Hadn't sort of followed that through any further, so the interest had always been there.
Oh, wow. And what, I mean, I'm taking you really back down memory lane now, but when you started, what did you do? What sort of...
Right. I was starting from scratch. I had no idea what I was doing. I thought I did. I remember I had to stop at the first buyers that I had in the car, first lot of buyers, I had to stop at a service station and get a map to find my way where I was going to the house. We didn't have GPSs or anything in those days. And so I was very, very green. That naivety, though, I believe got me off to a good start, because I wasn't scared to ask the questions, or I sort of waded on in where others were sort of feared to go a wee bit. And it was a time that it was very busy. I think in the first month, I think I'm talking leagues. I did 8 leagues in the first month, but that's what you had to do to make a living in those days. I think the highest fee I earned that month was $560.
Wow.
So yeah, that was what you had to do. I was also lucky, which you don't realise this at the time, but the company that I started off gave very, very good training and gave me a very good base to start from.
Yeah.
And funnily enough, like I look back, because we were all young guys then. Like I think I was would have been about 27 when I started, which in today's world is there's a lot of young ones starting now, but that was young. I was young and had a young family and was very motivated to succeed. There wasn't anywhere else to go. But the company gave me very good training, good basis. Like we became, it was a top company in the town at the time, and I was just very lucky to be part of that, and got that good base and good knowledge to start with.
Yeah. I was just thinking when you were talking about the legs, the doing 8 legs, and then the fact that that's the minimum you had to do to survive. Because a few months ago, I was talking to another very successful salesperson from Kaitaia. Obviously, Kaitaia is much smaller than Invercargill, but they have to carry a lot of stock because the prices are very low and there's less transactions happening there. Is it the same with you guys in Invercargill right now? Do you have to carry a lot of stock, or is it easier?
Well, I think our market at the moment, we are very low of stock. So like personally, what I would normally do, my ideal stock carrying capacity would be if I have 10 listings, I know 15 I start to fall off, the service drops off. 5 I'm almost unemployed, so that's my sort of 10 is my ideal figure. But at the moment I'll only be running with it could be 3 or 4, and mainly because of the stock's just turning over so quick. So we've got high number of sales. So in the Invercargill market at the moment, like we're having months of 180 sales, which is quite high for Invercargill. But the stock level, I think it's just got over, so the Invercargill district, Invercargill boundary, so that's a wee bit of lifestyle, mainly residential. That'll be carrying, I think it's a bit over 200 properties now, but it's struggled to get over 200 right through Christmas and past that. So that's very low stock levels.
What is the average days on the market in Invercargill right now, roughly?
It's way down about, I think it's around the 20 days. So you like that's like, and really that's only sort of 14 days of marketing. You get it listed a week to get it up and running and on the net, and photos taken. So it's turning over very, 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 very quick.
Wow, that is very short. If we think about your career, the 32 years you sold, you managed, what were the main changes that you've seen happening through in the industry?
The changes have been huge, but I don't see them as changes. That real estate has very much evolved over the last 30 years, in very, very good ways, and a lot of not so good. Just an insight into that, and then this is just my belief, but when I started in real estate, our training was very much on negotiation, and like helping people get deals together, getting the best price for vendors, etc. That type of training. Now I see that like a lot of our training is taken up with like compliance and rules and laws, and I sometimes worry whether our agents are as good at the cliff face stuff that the clients pay us to do. So that would be, but the other side of it is that I see that as a real estate, as agents, we are a lot more professional now than what we used to be. And I see that the public actually view us that way too now. We've earned that professionalism. And we, I think it's very much a responsibility for us to deliver that. So there's been lots of, like, when I started 32 years ago, open homes were a new thing.
Mm.
So, you know, like there's been a huge evolution. Exclusive agencies, the company I started with had just bought in exclusive agencies.
Yeah.
You didn't get paid for a general listing if you bought it in. That was, and the general listing psychology was that strong that that's the only way they could get the agents to change. Was that if you can bring a general in and you can sell it, but you won't get paid for it. It'll be divvied up at the end of the year and split amongst all the salespeople.
Yeah, wow.
And that was how how hard they had to be to convince everyone to list exclusively and look after the client.
Yeah.
That's very much an evolution, and now that's just a generally accepted practice. Auctions, we did quite a few auctions in the early days. I am an auctioneer, called auctions, etc. They are quite prolific now. It's quite an easy market, so you see a lot of auctions being done now. Real estate's a constantly evolving business. It never stays still. Which is exciting.
It is. It's a day in real estate is never like the day before, and it will not be like the day after. So that's
definitely not. Yeah, and it's probably the even after 32 years, that's the buzz I get out of it is dealing with the people and getting those deals across the line and seeing the excitement of your clients getting on with that next step and opening up the next step for them. It's very, very cool. Yeah.
Wow. So again, thinking about when you started and thinking about today, what were the main challenges that you would have faced when you started, and how do you compare them with the main challenges that salespeople will have today? And we probably touched on it a little bit earlier with the changes, but how do you compare the challenges before and now?
I think the main challenge for any agent, an agent starting out today, the main challenge would be is making the first sale you've got to do, and that's your services, and that's to get the listing. Like real estate hasn't really changed. The listings are your lifeblood. If you don't go out there with a listing mentality and bringing listings in, the career can be very hard. So getting alongside clients, being entrusted with the listing of their property, convincing them or them seeing the value that you're going to add to that transaction, and the unique qualities that you bring to the transaction, should be your primary focus. And if you do that well, you'll have a good career. I don't think anything's changed. It's always been that.
Do you see, and I think we probably have touched on it a little bit earlier, do you see that the salespeople right now are becoming more professional? Their listing presentations, the level of the things that you do has become more professional comparing to what it was before?
Yes, I do. I see that there's that our presentation, the profile that we have as agents has become a lot more professional. I think I do think I'll see a lot of people get caught up in it, though. A lot of it is profile and etc. And you've got to be able to back it up. Like it's all very fine being a very good marketer and having nice photos, etc. You've got to be able to back it up. It's the old saying, the proof's in the pudding. You've got to be able to. So that would be. So I see that people's profile and the promotion and everything has got a lot more professional and everything. But I think still that would be not a concern. But I see that's where the sort of the wheat's sorted out from the chaff is in the actual delivery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with what you spoke about before, having the need to carry about 10 listings at a time, that is a lot of work, especially right now with the amount of compliance that needs to be done. How do you make sure that you keep yourself productive and still keep the customer service and still able to do everything right?
Right. Well, it's a constant balancing act. That I was lucky years ago. I had a what you call them a life coach that I came in and got connected with in about the mid 1990s. So he taught me stuff about that type of thing, about like simple stuff like dollar productive hours, etc. So when you go into work, having your I don't start my day unless I've got at least. I don't finish my day unless I've got at least 3 appointments in my diary for the next day.
Yeah.
I try and get my dollar productive, the things that are going to. So my dollar productive stuff are anything that bring me in a listing, prospecting, listing, negotiating, selling, and holding deals together. So I make sure that I do at least 3.5 to 4 hours of them every day. It's just sort of disciplines or self-talk that I've got like that keeps me on track.
Yeah. Funny, the word discipline, how important it is, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think you'd be in this job if you didn't have a bit of self-discipline. It would chew you up and spit you. You've got to be able to hold yourself to task.
Graeme, final question. What do you do to keep yourself sane? What do you do outside of real estate?
So the stuff that's legal, like
only legal stuff. Yep.
No, family are important to me. And actually, like my wife is in real estate as well, so wow. We are very much a real estate household, but we're very much aware that because of that, we have got to have a balance. It's even more important for us. Our family are important. Like I'm a grandfather now, I've got grandchildren. Hanging out with them is probably the best form of relaxation and that you could ever have. Our grandkids are very cool. I've got a good friend of mine said that if I knew how good grandkids were, I would have had them first. But stay reasonably physical. I haven't been doing a lot of biking but I've done quite a few mountain bike rides and races. Do a lot of walking and hunting, and love the outdoors. And so I call it feeding my soul. I get out and do that as much as I can. And I just set myself a goal. Like at the moment, I've set myself a goal that I'm short of listings. So after I've brought in the next 3 listings, I'm going to shout myself, I'm going to go away on a hunting for a night. So, and that's how I balance it out.
Reward yourself
that I enjoy for doing the work that I need to do to enjoy the reward.
Well, that's fabulous. The ability to reward yourself for achieving the things that you want to achieve. Incredible.
No, it's I'll tell you, like it's not a secret. The guy that I met was a guy, Dr. Fred Gross, that a lot of people will know. And I was lucky enough to meet him when I was quite a young and impressionable in 1996. And the things that he said just rung true to me. And he basically gave me rules to run my real estate life. And I make no secret, like I credit him with that I'm still in the business, performing to a reasonably high level. I've got a good balanced life. My wife's still married to me, and my kids still talk to me. And I've been in real estate for 32 years. So And so I would advise someone to seek someone like Fred to have a mentor or a guide or something, just to bounce ideas off and someone who will call you to task. If they don't think you're heading in the right direction or need pulled into line, someone that's brave enough to do that.
Very good. Graeme, thank you so much. Really, really appreciate your time. Really appreciate you sharing the knowledge, the stories, and the information.
Good as gold. No, thanks for the opportunity, Gary, and all the best with what you're doing too. You're doing a good job. Keep it up. We need more people like you. Helping these agents.
Yeah.
Get ahead. Yeah.
Thank you, Graeme.
Good on you, Gary.